Alright guys, first thing is first, safety is important. You want to jack up the passenger side of the vehicle, put your emergency brakes on, especially when you're on a driveway like this. The driveway is kind of like an incline, so definitely put the emergency brakes on. Put your jack stand right here. Now your jack stand is going to be located right here. You can see the little lip right there. That's made just for a jack. So you want to set your jack stand right there. Alright? So the next thing we're going to do is two things. You want to take your 1/2 inch driving wrench, or yours might be different. Let me see. Yeah, yours might be a 10 millimeter because this is the original one. This is aftermarket. I have to rechange this. 1/2 inch drive. Loosen this up. Take your negative post off. Swing it to the side. Then after that, we're going to be taking off the tire. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the first thing you're going to do is remove your tire. Now the lugs on this tire is held on by 22 millimeter lugs. I got 22 millimeters shallow with my earthquake impact gun. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take all the lug nuts off. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing you do, take your hydraulic jack, get you a nice size wood. This is a 2x10. Make sure you have something thick, because what you're going to be doing is putting it onto the jack and on up to the front of the engine. And this is an aluminum oil pan. If you do not use this, that jack will go through that oil pan. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to go through that oil pan. So you got to have you a block of wood there. And try to stay towards the front of the engine. Then, once it's up there like that, just a little more tension, and that's it. All right, let's go to the top and get off this, get the motor mount out. Be right back. All right, guys, now we're gonna start our party line, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. All right, next, take you a flat screwdriver. We're gonna remove this engine cover. You got 2 clips right here. Just take the clips, turn them counterclockwise, 90 degrees. That was this up. And then pick your cover up. And let's go over here. And what you're going to do is, when you're doing a big job, I'm going to set this piece right here. Every time I take off a part, I'm going to put it in the line. That's called the party line. So when we go to put this job back together, we just start from this end of the line and work our way out. Work our way back. This way, if this car is down for a year, as long as you got a party line situated, you'll be able to put this car back together. All right, let's get back to it. We'll be right back.
We have a new mechanic working with us.
All right, guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the power steering pump. We're going to swing that out to the side to get that out of the way. Just because I want to be able to, I don't have to do this if I was doing this job, but just so I can give you a good look at this, I'm going to remove this. But before I remove this, I am going to need to take the fluid out of the power steering pump reservoir. And what I'm going to do is get my brake bleeder here. I'm going to stick this down into the reservoir. It does have a hook where I can hang it somewhere, but I ain't got time for that. Let's get this air. It's going to be a little bit noisy. And squeeze the trigger. And it's going to start sucking the fluid out of there into there. As you can see. So what we're going to do is continue on and take all the fluid out of here. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Completely empty. We'll take this out, put it to the side. The next thing you're going to do is get you a pair of needle nose and some rags. We'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. Get our needle nose pliers, and we got our little clip right here, our clamp. And what I'm going to do here is go in there, squeeze the clamp together, bring the clamp back. Now, what you want to do is get some rags, stick up under there, and get you some 2 old gloves. Because when we take these off, there's still going to be some fluid coming out of there, and you're going to ball up one glove and put it into the reservoir, and the other one and put it into the hose. So let me get some gloves on, and let's make sure this is, yeah, that's loose. Huh? Yeah, let me go get it. Be right back. Fuck, I'm ready. All right, let's get our gloves and stick them up under there. Dang it, man. What the heck, man?
Those are rags, not gloves.
Yeah, okay, what I'm going to do here is try to get this off and keep this rag hooked, because the rags are just, there it is. Dang it. All right, we got them off. What I'm gonna do is twist this hose up. All right, there's hose right there. Get our glove, stick it in there. Okay, then move that out of the way. Get our other glove and go into the reservoir. Okay, what I'm gonna do is take my screwdriver and just make sure that it is in there. Nice. Dang, that thing came right out of there. Oh, what the heck am I doing? Why don't I make this easier? Take this up out of here, twist it to the side, and get this stuffed in there. Be right back. Alright guys, we got that out of the way. The next thing we're going to do, this is our wire going right here, going to the alternator. We want to get that out of the way as well. And it's got a little boot right here. Just get your finger right there and pick that boot up just like that. And when you pull it back, it's going to uncover, looks like a, let me see what kind of bolt that is. You see that nut right there. Let me see what we got here. And you know what? I'm going to have to use a swivel socket on that. Okay, it's a 12 millimeter nut, and I'm using, as you can see, I'm using a 12 millimeter swivel socket, 3/8 drive, with my 3/8 drive ratchet, and I'm using a 9-inch 3/8 drive extension. You can get longer if you want. Just take that nut. We're going to take that nut off, and then right here, there's a little clip that's holding on to this harness. That's all you have to do is take this little part of the clip, pull it outward, and you're going to pick the whole thing up. Okay, off of there. And then right here, you got another one. Take the tab, push the tab away from the connector, and pick up on the harness, just like that. Alright, so let's get this nut out of here, and then we're going to take this whole harness and swing it over back here to the power distribution box or something. Just tie that out of the way. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got that up. And what I did, I put the nut back on there just so we don't lose that. Yeah, we definitely don't want to lose that. Alright, the next thing we do, our power steering pump reservoir. It just comes out of the connector just like this. We're going to bring this all the way to the side, and we got our glove in there, so we're good to go. And we're going to tuck this down right over here to the side somewhere. Make sure that's out of the way, and now check that out. We even got more room in there. Alright, the next thing we're going to take off our belt. And if you look right down there, this is kind of rounded off. I don't know why. That's our adjusting nut right there for the belt. So we need to get us a long ratchet and get that, loosen that up to take this belt off. We'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing you do, grab your 19 millimeter 1/2-inch drive socket, and you're gonna, or 3/8, but what you're gonna need is a long handled ratchet. That's why I'm using my 1/2-inch drive, because this thing is tensioned by like a shock, and that thing is really tight. And what you want to do is hook it on, put it on there, and then you're gonna set your ratchet up like you're loosening the bolt up. And then you gotta sit here and you have to hold tension. You can see my hand up here holding tension on that, and see how it's slowly moving. Just keep the tension on it, keep the tension on it, because you're actually loosening up the belt. And once you get to a certain point, hold your hand right here and just go ahead and take that belt off. Then you can release it. And that's out of the way. off. Let's take our belt off and put it in the party line. We'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do, make this a lot easier, is see all this harness right here, and this is our computer. We need to get all this out of the way so we can have a definite good look at all this. Now, you're gonna have two tabs. One right here that you're gonna pick up like this, and you're gonna have one right there the same way. And what you're gonna do is pick up on the tab and pull the cover off. Take the cover off. Set that to the party line. Now we're gonna have 3 connectors here. Well, actually, yeah, we're gonna have 3 connectors going to the computer. And what we're gonna do here is flip it back just like that. 1. You see a little tab right there? You gotta push that down, which is gonna release it and pull it back. And there's a little latching assembly. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's get those unplugged. Get these 2 out of the way. Now this one's not done yet. Right here, you're gonna have 1 more plug. All right, let's see how this comes off. Dang it. Okay, there it is. The little tab right there. Pick that up and unlatch that assembly. Bring it out of the way. We're not done yet still. Right over here, see that little tab right there? You gotta pick that little tab up and take that harness off of that connector. Just like that. All right, now we got that out of the way. Let's get this whole harness, and it goes up to here. Let's swing this all over to the side and get it up under the power steering pump. Actually, you know what, guys? Let's just leave that alone for a minute, because we're gonna get this power steering pump out of the way so we can pull this over to the side. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do, let's get our computer out of the way. Now, this is a great time to introduce Paul. Paul from Connecticut. Yeah, buddy. For Christmas, Paul sent me the Makita. Look at that, cordless nut driver. Bam, bam. Yeah, buddy, Paul. Look at that, Paul. Paul got tired of me using a cordless drill. I gotta do a video on this. All right, so what we got, I got my nut driver up here with a 10mm deep, and we got 3 bolts here. We got 1 right down here.
Okay.
1 right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got 1 right here, but this is holding on to the AC line. So we definitely gonna need it out of the way. We're gonna need that one out of the way. Take the line off. Let's put our bolt back in there. And let's get our other 2 out. And we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got 1 more bolt that I noticed, and that bolt is right down here. You can see my socket, and what I'm using is an 18-inch 1/4-inch drive wobble extension with a 10mm shallow, and it looks like there's a slot on this. So it looks like that's all I have to do is just loosen this bolt up. Let's see here. All right. There. Let's get this out of here and I can show you what the heck. What is this right here?
If you move your socket, I think we can see it.
Right here.
Yeah.
Just loosen that bolt up. All right. Let's put this to the party line. And yeah, boy, look at all that room we got. Yeah, I like that. We'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our power distribution box to the side. Let's get that out of the way.
You have to remove all of this because this is starting to look like a project.
Okay, the computer you may have to, because we're gonna be removing the mount. But this right here, the power distribution box, no, you do not have to. It's just I'm doing this so you guys can get it a good example, because you can, especially when I start taking off the camshaft, lining up the marks over here on this side, it's gonna be very difficult to see. So that's the only reason why I'm moving this. But you guys do not have to. All right, so what I'm gonna do is grab my 10mm deep, and we got our box right here. First of all, let's take off the cover. To take off the cover, we got little tabs right here that you gotta squeeze together. 1, 2, 3, 4. pop it up. This 10mm bolt or 8mm bolt right there. So I gotta switch over to an 8mm. We need to take that up because it's going to come onto the other side.
I had a good view.
Problem is, you gotta go with the wires right here. See the wire? Mm-hmm. That wire goes to it. So what we need to do is take that up and get that wire out of there. Swing that over to the side. Put the bolt back in it. Okay, this one we don't have to. This one's going down to the alternator one that we took off, which is right here. But what we're gonna have to do now is change over to a 10mm. And we got two bolts, one right there and one right here. So let's go ahead. 1, 2. Let's see if any. What's this? Let's get on. What's this one?
That's gonna complain about the
He sure is. Damn, that's a bunch. What the heck is over here? Oh, okay. It looks like there's a tab right there. You can see any of it?
no.
All right, that tab right there. We gotta push that tab out and pick it up. All right, then let's put our two 10mm bolts back in here. And we'll be right back. All right, guys, next up, I got me this blanket. That's to protect the fender. And I got some wire, mechanics wire right here. I'm gonna wrap it around. This thing, make sure it's done. Wrap it around here. Tie it up. Then I'll put my cover back on my power distribution box. And I'm gonna bring this all the way over here to the side. And tie that up. Dang it. Well, you get the gist. Let's get this thing tied up and we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're going to do is remove this upper part of our motor mount. And this is to make sure you have your block of wood and hydraulic jack up under the front of the engine, because once you remove this engine will drop down. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to have the two 14mm bolts right there. And what I'm using is a 12-inch half-inch drive extension with a 14mm deep half-inch drive. Air gun here. And let's remove those two bolts. 1, 2, and then you're going to switch over to a 17mm 3/8 drive with your ratchet, and you got this bolt right here. Now remember, you got a counterweight right here. So just remember that's in place. And this is really tight, so just to kind of balance off the engine or some junk. Loosen that up. All right. Let's get this out and we'll be right back. All right, we got the bolt out. Let's take off the two bolts right here. Both bolts are the same length, so we don't have to worry about that. And this bolt right here is long, so let's keep that right there and keep our counterweight right there. Take this up. Get it away. All right, and what we're gonna do is put these bolts back in here and put that in there like that. This one like that. And then we're gonna put this to the party line and we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we can do is we're gonna remove our power steering pump out of the way. And to do that, it's held on by two 12mm bolts. One is right there. And the other one is in the front, right there. All right, so what I'm using is a 12mm deep, 3/8 drive with my ratchet. I'll go under here and get this one first. All right, and then I'm gonna go around here and get this one. All right, let's remove those two bolts and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got that off. Now what I'm gonna do is take my AC line right here and I'm just gonna bend that over to the side just a little bit. I got one bolt that was up on the top. The other one is right here. Let me make sure these are the same length. Yes, they are. Both are the same length. Take our power steering pump, swing that right over to the side on top of the engine. Look at all that room we have available to us right now. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is, now I got my jack. I'm jacking the engine up. And you know, let's see. Nah, I'm not gonna put these bolts back. Well, I'll put them back for now, just so we know where they go. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do is we have to remove this pulley right here. What we're gonna do with the whole tension. Let me get a light and all, and I'm gonna need a light, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, you know what? Let's get this out of the way. Here's our wiring harness going to our computer. Let's bring this over to the side. We're gonna tuck this up under here. Get it out of the way. Great. Now let's get this motor mount out of the way. What we got here is three 17mm bolts. And what I'm using is my 12-inch half-inch drive extension with my 17mm half-inch drive socket. Got one. Two. And three. And as you can see, the one on the top is shorter than the other two, and the two down there is the same size. All right, let's take this off. We're gonna put this to the party line and we'll be right back. All right, guys, next thing we're gonna do, let's get this little bracket, get this thing out of the way. And this thing held in by three 14mm bolts, and I got my 14mm deep 3/8 drive with my 3/8 drive ratchet. And hopefully, I don't know if you'll be able to see, right down in here. You see that? Yeah. That's one. Okay. Number two is right here. And number three, you're gonna see a little indentation right here, a hole right there. Number three is right inside there. Let's see if this thing is moving. Let's see if it moves around. Make sure that's it. Yeah, there it is. It's moving. All right, let's get those three out, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got two of them out, and I was taking that last one out, and I started moving it, and it looks like our timing cover is above this. Also, we got a 10mm bolt right here, so we're gonna hold off on that. What I'm gonna do now is remove our tensioner, and our tensioner has two bolts, one right here, a 17mm, and down below a 12mm. I have my socket on it already. Down there. We're gonna see that in a minute. We need to take this bolt out first. So I'm using a 17mm half-inch drive with my half-inch drive ratchet. And as you can see, that thing was kind of tight. All right, we're gonna take that bolt out. And then we're gonna go down here to the front of the engine. And right there, there's our shock that's holding the tension up on the belt. And it's held in by a 12mm bolt right there. So I got my 12mm deep. And go over there and buzz that out. All right, so I got this bolt out. Let's get that 17 millimeter out, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got the 12 millimeter bolt out. Now I'm gonna reach down here, take out the 17. And once you get that 17 out, whenever you get it out, because it's pissing me off right now. How long is this bolt, man? What the? All right, there we go. Pick the whole assembly up, and there it is right there. We're gonna do a stick out 12 millimeter bolt right there, and let's go see how our party line is doing. All right, here's our party line. And as you can see, as we took off parts, we put them in a line, and now this one goes in the line. Cool, yeah, boy. All right, let's get back over there. We'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do is take off our upper timing covers. One right here and one right here. And I noticed, if you notice on this one, we got 2 bolts missing. Right over there. I don't know. Huh?
Your light is facing wrong. And so we couldn't really see that.
Not either.
Oh, just. Okay. One there and one where?
Further up.
Okay, let me see it.
Okay. Just like on this side, it has the 2. Right there. All right, so before we start though, we got a wiring harness up here that we had to pop out of this cover. Pop that out, push that over to the side, and over here we got another harness that's clipped in, and we gotta do is take a needle nose and we gotta squeeze the tabs in over here and pop that out. Lean that over to the side. Okay, now let's get our bolts out. Hey, even that bolt, there's a bolt in there. And that one's missing. All right, we got 10 millimeter bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, supposed to be 5. 1, 2, 3, and supposed to be 5. So what you want to do is get your lines, get everything out of the way here. You're going to 10 millimeter deep, 3/8 drive with your big bill ratchet, so we can reach way back here and stand out here. Oops, let me get this out of the way. All right, so what we're going to do is go on there and take our bolts out. All bolts are going to be the same exact size. All right, so let's get all the bolts out and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got all the bolts out. And that's all you do is just take the covers, take them off. Woo, man.
Where's the belt?
You see it. All that is the belt. Also, what's left of it. Wow, man. Wow. That thing really shredded up. Let's take our other cover off and see what we got over here.
Wait, you mean that fuzz?
Yep, that's the belt. Let's get this thing out of the car.
How does that happen?
Holy cow. Look at the back of these covers. I've never seen, in my life, I've never seen a belt disintegrate like this. Wow. All right, let's
show the customer.
Yeah, I am. Let's set these down to the party line and we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do is remove our harmonic balancer. 2 ways of doing this. One, you can get the tool that you're supposed to have for this, and what this does, if you can see inside of here, you can see how it looks like a stop sign.
Yeah.
This piece goes into there like that. You put a ratchet onto here, or a breaker bar, and then your socket goes onto here. And as you're turning it and to loosen it, it's counterclockwise. This will go up, lock onto the frame or something and stop, and then it takes a lot of force to take that out. Or if you have a good impact gun, and I'm using the Harbor Freight Earthquake XT. These things are powerful. 19 millimeter deep, 1/2-inch drive. Let's go in here. And it didn't work. So we're gonna be doing this the hard way. Yeah, buddy. All right, so we're gonna do, let's get us a ratchet and all, and let's get ready to do this, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, being that I embarrassed myself for my, my earthquake, didn't do it, we're gonna be using the tool. So the tool is in there, make sure it's locked in there good. Make sure you have a nice size ratchet over here, and I got it going up against the axle, prying up against the, gonna hold up against the axle, and it's on tightening. And I gotta make sure that thing holds that into place at the same time. Dang it. You know what? Let's get this down here like this. Yeah. 19 millimeter, shallow socket, 1/2-inch drive. It's gonna go right in between there just like that. Then I'm gonna take my 1/2-inch drive ratchet, and it's on loosening, and I'm gonna bring this down from the top like that. All right, now the object here is to make sure this locks up onto something. And you know what, before I do this, what I'm gonna do here, guys, I'm gonna take my pry bar, my jack handle out of this to give me more leverage. Put it on to the ratchet. Bring this down into here. Because guys, this bolt is tight. All right, there we go. Now, what I need is for this to be, you know what, let's take this. Out, let's swing this around to this way. Dang it, that's still. Just gonna. Dang it. We gotta make sure this thing, because this thing will slip out of there, and you don't want it to slip out of there. And let me see, what would happen if it... Guys, we might have lucked out here. I got it hitting up against the frame right here. And that's good. Let's try that. Okay. Get my jack handle. Get on to the... All right. Let's see if it holds it. Because this thing is, that bracket is in the way. You know what? All right, come up here for a minute. Guys, we got, let's see if we can get this thing out of here. Let's get that bolt, that 10 millimeter bolt out of there. Okay, let's get our other 14 out of here and see if we can get this thing out of here, because trying to loosen it up, that bracket's getting right in my way. Dang it. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got the 3 bolts out. Let's try to get this thing up out of here. And that's gonna suck because it still won't come out because it's still behind that cover. Dang it. This has just become a project. But I'm not trying to hear it. Let's try something else here. Oh, wait a minute, I'm right. Okay, I can. I'm hitting up against the water pump. Yeah, not even gonna mess with it. All right, guys, let's take this out of here because this ain't gonna work down here. Up here. Be right back. All right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. I got it situated right here. Got my 1/2" drive ratchet into on. Got it above the axle, and I'm using my torque wrench because it's longer. I can get better leverage down here. And what I'm gonna do, reach right here, and I'm bracing myself up against the bumper, and okay, if I can get both my hands on this, I'll be in. Okay. You gotta be kidding me, man. This thing is just so... Jack this car up more. Oh cow! Oh my goodness! This is why I needed that breaker bar up here. You know what? There's gotta be.
Use your muscles. Try again.
I'm cramped up. What the heck? I can't get up.
You could do it.
Alright, forget it.
What happened to your Thor muscles?
That's the Thor hammer. I don't got my hammer with me.
Well.
So I can't do this when I...
Make it a Thor torque wrench. Bettoli.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw something move, but did something move?
I have no idea. I mean, that thing is moving, but I don't know if you're loosening it up or...
Oh, the tool?
Yeah.
See, that's what I don't want to happen. I want that tool slipping out of there.
No, you are the one you were moving.
The struggle is real. Alright, fine. That's the way you want to play it? That's the way we're going to play it then. I gotta somehow get this thing up here. Hey, you know what about... Dang, no, that ain't gonna work. Oh, I'm just turning the whole thing. I don't even doing nothing. Oh, I got this going on off, dang it. Alright guys, let me set this back up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, let's try this again. We got it going up against the axle again. And I had to change up because I can't put my pipe on the torque wrench. Alright, let's go up here. Bring this down to here. And I'm gonna hopefully can get around this bracket I'm gonna lift this up. This sucks. Look at this, guys. What I'm gonna have to do, because I'm hitting up against the hood. Hold it. Let's try that. This bracket, man, is in my way. Either I'm breaking it or it came loose. No idea. Oh man!
Woohoo! Good job.
Was tight. Oh my goodness, was that tight. Alright, once we get this off, where's my, here, let's have one minute. I guess this earthquake AC didn't do its job, huh? Look at that, that did it, look at that. Took that right off. Alright, now that we got that off, we should be able to reach in there and shake this pulley loose and get it, shake it back and forth, and at the same time pulling it, and it should come off. Alright, and be careful. Notice this, I just dropped this keyway that goes right there to line all that up. So I mean, you can put it back in there if you want, just like that, and that keeps that sprocket from turning. All right, now that you can see up under that way, what I need to do is take off the rest of the 10mm bolts, and you can see some of them from right there where you are. Better yet, come on,
I see a bunch.
What about, you see this one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, this one is missing up here. Over here, we got this one is missing. Wow, this thing is missing some damn bolts. Shouldn't there be one in the middle?
There's missing.
That's missing. Alright, so we gotta get those 10mm bolts out, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, I took 2 of the bolts on the top, and my cover swings a little bit more. So now I can take this bracket out. Dang it, man.
What is that, insulation?
That's the timing belt. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is take this, put this on the party line with the 3 bolts that come with it. Wow. And then we're gonna finish taking off those other bolts, 10mm bolts. Be right back. Alright guys, I got the bolts out. Let's see.
Man.
This belt just disintegrated.
How did something like that happen?
And it was grinding off into the cover. Wait a minute, that shouldn't be.
Is that why it disintegrated? It's shredded?
I don't know. I mean, there was bolts missing And that could have been, oh, maybe that was the timing belt doing that. All right, let's see. We got this little retainer right here to keep the belt on. Wow. Holy cow. Look at that mess right there, guys. All right, guys, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go and I'm going to show the customer. Then I'm going to take my air, put a mask on, and I'm going to blow all this out of here, clean this up. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm going to blow this all out of here. You got to protect yourself because this is the bestest, whatever they want to call it. I don't know. But we're going to blow all this and clean this up, get it away, and see what we got underneath. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we got it all cleaned up. Wait a minute, what the? Holy. Oh, man, guys, look at that. The whole, it goes to the tensioner. It's, you know what? The customer had this for, you know what, guys, let me go talk to the customer a second, and I'll be right back. All right, I spoke to the customer. They had the vehicle for 3 to 4 years, and you notice some of the bolts was out. That means somebody at that time did a water pump. Yeah, because that pulley looks pretty good. The idler and the tensioner, but it looks like for 3 to 4 years, it looks like they tightened it up, but maybe didn't tighten it up enough. And this bolt actually started walking out and causing the belt to mess up. Dang it. Let's you know what, let's bring this in to make sure the threads aren't messed up. Let's bring this in all the way. Yeah, it's good. That's all I have to do is tighten it up, and that's good. All right, so what we're gonna do now is now I gotta take this back out. Let's take this back out, and then we're gonna take out the tensioner that's down there. All right, let me take this out and I'll be right back. All right, guys, what we're gonna do here is get this tensioner out of here. We got two 10mm bolts. Take those bolts out, and then we're gonna go up underneath and bring our crankshaft up to top dead center. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, the first thing we're gonna do is let's get our crankshaft mark lined up. We're gonna take this cover, the shield, this cover off right here. This keeps the timing belt in place. Now, what we're looking for here is a little arrow towards the top, which is right there. Can you see a little arrow right there?
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
And then there's going to be an arrow on the gear. It's going to be right here, located right with the keyway. And what I'm going to do here is turn this, put this.
See an arrow.
I got to turn around so you can see it better because it's right. Let me see if we can see it right there. There's you can see a little dot of it right there.
Okay.
So what we gotta do is put the bolt back in here. And we're gonna turn this clockwise. And get that bolt turned around, get that mark. We're not going to line that mark up yet, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, just in case we can save this. All right, so let's go here. Let's tighten this up. Let's bring this around. All right. Okay, we're gonna stop right about there. The reason why when we line this mark up, you know, that's gonna be off. I'm about to line it up right there, but no, it's a little bit off. Once we line this up right there, this engine is gonna be at top dead center. That means our number one piston is gonna be at the top point as it can go. And we put it right there and go to try to turn our valves, our camshafts, there's a good chance we're gonna contact our pistons, if not already. So bring it right there, about 15 degrees before top dead center. I am assured that every single piston in this engine is below deck, below its top point. So now I can go up there and turn them without any problems. All right, so we're gonna put this right here, keep this right here. Let's grab us a 17mm wrench, and we'll go up to the top, and now let's line up our top ones. Be right back. All right, guys, we're at the camshafts. I already marked them where it's gonna go. Here's the timing mark where it's gotta line up to, that line right there, and this one, that line over there. Now on this side, on the cam gear, there's a little line that I got marked already for you.
Well, how do you know that's the line?
That's the only one there. On this side, there are going to be a bunch of marks. 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're looking for number 1. You can see the little number 1 right there. On here, you can see number 6. You're going to be looking for number 1. And I marked that one, number 1. All right, then you're going to take your 17mm wrench. And don't use a ratchet, because a ratchet will spin, because these things will spring, and the ratchet's just gonna not let you have control over it. A wrench will. So we're gonna bring this around and line that one up, and then we're gonna bring this one around. This one's gonna be a little problem. That one is right there on. And if I move this a little bit this way, it's gonna spin. If I move it this way, it's gonna spin. We got that one lined up. All right. The next thing you're gonna do, if you have some guys, get you a needle nose vice grips or some clamps like this. That's gonna hold the timing. Hold it on, hold the belt on in place. All right, so let's get our belt and we'll be right back. All right, here we go. First thing you want to do is make sure your belt don't have any arrows on it to show you which way it's going to turn. This one don't, so we're good to go. All right, we're going to put our belt onto here, go under the water pump, and don't pull it, because remember that belt over there, it's just barely on. Take one of our clamps, that holds it into place. Then go over to here. And you can see how it's not lining up like I wanted to, but that's cool. That's cool. Let's go over here. We got to make sure our mark is lined up perfectly, and it looks like maybe I can go. It looks like I can go to the right just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna keep using my wrench so I can hold it into place, because I want this thing snapping back into place. Snapping on me right there.
It's hard to see it from here, but yeah, that looks like it could line up. Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it around. Okay, look at that. Lined up perfectly. Right there. Let's bring this around. Get our other clamp. Keep that one into place. Woo, man. Now, we're going to go down. It's going to go down over here around the idler. And then we're gonna get ready to put it on to there. But you know what? Let's get our tensioner that goes over there and get that on as well. So let's get our tensioner and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got our tensioner here, and what I'm gonna do here is get a little Loctite, and what Loctite does, it stops them threads, that bolt, from backing up just a little bit. It's up here.
Locks it tight.
Exactly. All right, let's get this down in there, and it goes right up on here, right here. And hopefully this thing will tighten up. Hopefully it's not stripped out or anything, because that would suck. Okay, I got my 14 millimeter 3/8 drive. No, it's not. Now I'm gonna tighten it down till it stops, and then a little bit more. Done. Make sure this thing moves. Great, perfect. All right, so let's get our belt to going around here, onto here, and then we're gonna be putting it down on the crankshaft. We'll be right back. All right, guys, what I did was tighten this bolt up just a little bit so we can use a 19 millimeter wrench so we can move this crankshaft around as we please. Now, so what I'm gonna do is hold tension on this side right here. Wow, this is really, that sucks. I should have put that on. If I knew this thing was gonna be tight like this, I'd have put that on, because this belt's really gonna be kind of messed up over here. That's why they had that loose. That's exactly why they had that loose. All right, guys, what I'm gonna have to do is loosen up that tensioner again, because I need more of a oh, wait a minute, there it is. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is now turn. Now I can try to put this belt on now, but I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do here is turn my crankshaft until I'm almost lined up, and then, oh man, that thing came right off of there. You know what, let me take that tensioner off, because this is going to be a tough situation, and I might put another clamp up there on that belt too. Be right back. All right, guys, what I did was go over here, put my 17 millimeter wrench on it, and I just turned it counterclockwise just to get as much tension on this belt as possible. Then I got my other clamp in here to hold that right on. Now let's see if we can go up under there and get that on. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to put this belt on maybe a tooth before, so when I turn it to tighten it up, this side over here will have the tension on it and line up. That's all confusing. Alright, so let's get up under here and get our 19 millimeter wrench. Yeah, see, that will go on, but I gotta get close enough first. Whoops.
It looks like you're on it.
This is stupid because the mark is over here. They should have had a mark over here or something. It's right where the 6 is. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what I gotta do here
Well, can't you mark it?
Wait a minute. Did I just get that? Okay. Like right now, I got my belt on. And see how it's loose right here? See how loose on this side? So now, what I want to do here is when I turn this, because now I'm a tooth off, but the belt is loose. So now when I tighten this up, this should be tight and that mark should line up. Lined up?
Yes.
All right, so we know that now is lined up, and look at this tension right over here on this side. That is perfect. Now we gotta do is slowly let it go, and let's set up our tensioner now, our other tensioner, and put that into place. Be right back. All right, guys. Now what we need to do is set our tensioner, and what we gotta do is the plunger right here. We gotta bring that down, and you see that little hole right there. Let's turn this. So we got to compress this plunger into the tensioner, and then there's the other hole right there. This pin is going to go through and hold that into place. Now, how do you do that? If you got a vise, you set that in a vise. If you don't have a vise, let me show you what you do. Take your hydraulic jack, set it up like that into the frame of the car. And what you want to do is make sure the hose is lined up, and then set it onto the jack, and you're going to jack this up, and slowly as you jacking it up, you see that compressed, the plunger goes in, and you got to get ready. As soon as it goes through there, you gotta make sure you get ready to push that pin all the way through. Perfect. Release the jack. And there it is. It's set. Now we want to put our tensioner in there. So you go to the top, and you're gonna go to the top.
Oh, I go to the top.
Yeah. So that way, you can see where I'm setting it at. See it?
Yep.
All right. Set your tensioner right here. Wait a minute. Yeah. Let's get this. Get one of these bolts out of here, and it's gonna push up against this tensioner. Just put one bolt in there, just like that, just to get it started. And then you're going to swing it up, and you see the other tensioner move. And when you swing it up like that, get your other bolt, bring that in, and then we're going to tighten those two bolts up. All right, so let's tighten those up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got the bolts tightened up. Now, the next thing we want to do is go around. We want to make sure, let's take this off. We're pretty good with that. Make sure our mark is lined up right there. Make sure the belt over here got a lot of tension on it, which is really good. Let's go over here to this one. Let's take this off. See that mark is lined up perfectly. Then we go down to the bottom one and make sure that mark is lined up. Once we got the mark lined up, and you're going to have a little play over here, which is correct, which is supposed to be. Take your pin right here and pull that pin out. All right, once you pull that pin out, that thing is going to push out up against the tensioner, and look at that, tight, perfect. Let's take our clamp off over here. Now we're gonna now what we gotta do is take this bolt back out of here. All right, so let's take this bolt out of here and put our, you might well say retainer, because it keeps the belt on. And then we're gonna put our harmonic balancer on. So let me see, let's do that right now. All right. go out here. Go down here. Now guys, when you put this bolt in here to turn this, put this in and just tighten it a little bit by hand. Because what's happening in this bolt is pushing up against that keyway, and you don't want to mess up that keyway. So now I'm going to just get my air gun, take that bolt out. Perfect. Get our retainer, and if you look at our retainer, look at it sideways, you see it's like it's concave. This, it's going like that. This is going to be the outside facing you. So we're going to put this on like this. That's going to keep the timing belt in place. Then what's going to keep that in place is our harmonic balancer. And line up the keyway with the keyway slot on there. Now you're going to be taking this back off if this works. Put our bolt in there. Okay, and you want to tighten that bolt up. Alright. Alright guys, here we go. Alright, Sivy, should we leave them hanging? Oh, we can't do nothing yet. We gotta connect the computer back. Alright guys, we're gonna get the computer, because we gotta connect our computer back and all to make sure this thing, it will start. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, you're gonna sit in here. I'm gonna try to get this computer plugged up. Just enough to get this thing to see what it does. Wait a minute, I got the wrong one over here or what? Dang it. And this is bothering the mess out of me. Alright guys, I'll be back. Let me hook this thing up some kind of way. Dang it. Alright guys, we got our last plug here. Alright, our computer is plugged up. And our alternator wire is up here, so make sure it's out of the way, not touching nothing. We don't want to short anything out whatsoever. Make sure everything is out of the way. You know what? Let's put our cover on it just to be sure. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is get this out of the way, get this out of the way. Let's connect our negative terminal. Again, I'm going over it. I'm making sure I got no wires disconnected anywhere before we connect this. Alright, there we go. Let me tighten that up a little bit so we can make sure we get a good connection. Just a little bit. Alright guys, here we go. Let's see. You got a question about anything?
No.
All right, you want to go to this side so you can see the engine turning.
Well, what if the belt pops out? Since
belt
the
in.
cover is in there.
It's not going nowhere.
Okay.
See, that's what these are for. These are guides. The water pump, that lip right there, that's to keep the belt on. Then you got this one, that's to keep the belt on. This one don't have one because I got one, but that's why we put the one down there. And I'm right balancing. All right, ready?
Yeah.
See if it starts up.
It started, but what was that sound?
What sound?
It was like ticking.
Well, it's probably, I don't know, it'll probably build up oil pressure or something, like a ticking noise, like oil pressure at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably after. I don't want to let this run too long. Well, actually, I can let it run.
It was smoking.
Yeah, it's probably got a lot of stuff in there. All right, let me run it a little bit more, and what I'm gonna do, make sure our wiring harness and everything out of the way. Let me go over here and start it again, and this time I'm gonna come out here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's ticking. Hopefully it clear up, but I see a misfire too. I don't know. Let's see if this goes away. We're running off the battery, so I don't want this running too long. Let me give it a little gas. See if that clears up. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's clearing up. That's smooth right there. Cool. When I started up and did it again, huh? Yeah, we're gonna have to put this thing back together.
Maybe it's low in oil, or maybe the oil is too thin or something.
Yeah, it could be. It could be this oil could be have a lot of gas in it now. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do? We're not gonna go ahead. We're not gonna bore you. We're gonna put this thing back together. Check the oil. See if it's got any gas. See if it smells like gas or anything. Oh. Oh. There is no oil.
Needs oil, huh?
That's why it's... What the heck?
So it could have been doing that before the timer belt.
Look at that, guys. Not a drop of oil in here. All right, we're gonna go ahead, put this thing back together, and add some oil to it, and we'll be right back to start it up for the final startup. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Customer went and got us 3 quarts of oil, but I only needed 2. Let me get these off of here. And we got everything hooked back up. Hopefully now it builds up oil pressure. Hopefully that misfire goes up, because when it first started it had a misfire, and the check engine light was flashing, but as it warmed up, it seemed like it built up pressure, got quieter, and blah blah blah. So let's try to see what's going on now. It's ticking, and it's got a misfire. We're gonna let it run for a while and see if it clears up. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I just took it for a ride. This thing has hardly any power. Check engine light is on. the ticking started to go away. And the check engine light is actually flashing.
What does it mean when the check engine light flashes?
Oh man, check engine light flashing means that there's a severe misfire and imminent catalyst failure. Wait a minute. All right. We was wait a minute here. What if there was a misfire? This thing had a misfire before, or when the belt started going bad or something, and it clogged up a catalytic converter. It would lose power. There will be a misfire. You know what? This thing is kind of hot. What the heck am I doing? We're gonna pull out the O2 sensor back here, because this is where I'm getting that misfire from. We're gonna pull the O2 sensor out back there, and I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. Be right back. All right, guys, I got the O2 sensor unplugged, and I got my O2 sensor socket here. Reach back there, put it on.
I guess that's hard for us to see.
Yeah, it is. All right, I got it loose. All right, guys, let me take this O2 sensor out, and we'll be right back. All right, got it out. Now, I'm not saying that the O2 sensor is bad. This is not what I'm doing. Let me take this off. And now I am going to start this up. And I want to see how this runs. Oh, and it will be kind of loud because I got that O2 sensor out. That is perfect. Did you check that out? Yeah, buddy. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, check that out. This thing runs perfect. No ticking, no nothing. Smooth idle, everything. So I know for 100% fact, we got a bad cat right here. Now this.
Why, I don't understand. Why does that tell you that's a bad cat?
That is a good question. And you know what? I'm gonna have to let me get a piece of paper so we can draw this out and show you what explain it. I can explain this better on a piece of paper. We'll be right back. All right, guys, check this out. Sylvia got a good question, and I'm gonna help you out with it. Here is the exhaust manifold. Now this is being that this is a V6, you got 3 cylinders on each side. 1, 2, and 3. Every time the piston comes up on this exhaust stroke, it pushes all that gas out through here and go through the exhaust. Now, out through the end. If this right here is blocked off, what you're gonna get now is when, say if when number 3 goes to exhaust stroke, it pushes that gas out of here. If it can't go there, it's going to go out through one of those two, which would cause a misfire. And the same with these two as well. So once now right here, here's your catalytic converter, clogged up, and right before the cat is your O2 sensor. Now remember, if it can't breathe out there, it's going through the cylinders. Once you remove that O2 sensor, that gas now can go out through here, and it won't affect the other two cylinders.
I see.
So that's now.
Is that why I smelled the little exhaust fumes?
Yeah, he's gonna smell a lot. So right now, if I put that O2 sensor back in, that misfire is gonna come back. The ticking probably won't because it built up oil pressure and all, but the misfire will definitely come back. We have definitely got it. So I gotta talk to the customer and let them know we need. Now this car has 3 catalytic converters. You got one right here, then you got one on the other side, and then you got one down here. Now how do you know the other ones aren't clogged? That's a good question. Now this one is for the other side over here. How am I gonna say this?
The bank?
Yeah, the other bank. If this one was clogged, when I took apart this one, this misfire would still be here. And we know this one ain't because we know that one. But this one right here still could be clogged now. We don't know that because we bypassed it up here. So when we change this cat, now it's going to breathe back. But this one still could be clogged.
So then they might need to?
Might need to. Don't know. We definitely know we got to do this one. So we're going to let them know we got to do this one. Hopefully it brings the pressure, brings everything back. All right, we'll be right back.